The Local Women Interior Design Podcast is brought to you by Bassett's, Northern Ireland's leading multi-award-winning bathroom, heating and tile specialist.
Hello and welcome to Local Women's Interiors Podcast. My name is Sheena Thompson and I am the lead designer and founder of Sheena Noelle Design. This is a podcast where we talk all things interiors, from latest trends to advice from industry experts and so much more. And we are delighted to bring this with an association with our sponsors, Bassett's Bathrooms. Today on the podcast, I have Geraldine from Grey Tree Design, a beautiful creative design studio based in Donegal, who've been quietly making waves in the world of interiors and built-in design. If you've ever dreamed of creating your dream interior but struggle with visualising that final space, then this is the conversation you need to listen to. We're going to dive into the world of Grey Tree Designs and how they help clients visualise final spaces with built-in architectural details, kitchens, bathrooms, walk-in wardrobes, built-in storage, and so much more. Welcome to the podcast, Geraldine.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
I'm delighted to have you here. This is an exciting topic because I think so many people struggle with visualising final interiors, and I know this is something you really help with.
Yes.
So could you maybe give me a little background into where Grey Tree Design started and the history to your company?
Yeah, so I did interior design at college and worked for a kitchen company following that. I think I just knew I always wanted to be self-employed and wanted to dive more into the design side of things. So started in 2016, which now I realise is 9 years ago, which is so long ago.
Time flies.
I know, it really does. So my husband is self-employed and always just kind of pushed me, was like, yeah, absolutely do it. Let's do it now before we have kids. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of the goal. And it's just grew from there, really. It's been great and it's been so busy, and I love everything design wise, and I'm sure you're the same. You see Absolutely. Design everywhere, no matter where you look. Mm-hmm. I'm always that friend snapping pictures going, isn't that nice? Isn't that great? Different wallpapers or arches or anything at all. I just see it everywhere, so it's great. I enjoy it. I love it.
I think it's a passion, isn't it, really? It is nearly a vocation rather than a career choice. Really, you just know you're falling into that category.
Yeah, and I think if you're design minded, you see it everywhere and you pick inspiration from everything around you, which is great.
Yeah. And what would you say is your design philosophy or ethos behind Grey Tree Design? You know, have you got like a sustainable approach, or is it about creating spaces that people are going to love to live in, or have you got a philosophy to your...
Yeah, I suppose I just listen to the customer as much as possible and see what they need in their space, and make it as practical for them as possible, but also while looking really good. Mm-hmm. That is the goal. So when I talk to customers, I have a consultation with them and I listen to them as much as possible, whether it be they have a growing family or they live alone, or just creating zones within the space, especially in kitchens as well. The worst thing is when you're in the kitchen and somebody else is in the kitchen and you start tripping over each other. Yeah. So it's allowing the space and there and creating the zones within the space to make it work for a family, or, as I say, for a couple, whatever the needs be.
And what would you say the sort of project you specialise in? Because I know you don't just work, you can work remotely with clients as well. Yes. It's not just to have to be an in-person, face-to-face. So what kind of would be your typical client or what you'd specialise in?
Yeah, so a lot of my clients are probably new builds, but we do have a lot of refurbishments and stuff as well. We are online mainly, and that works well for me as well. So generally what I would do with the customers is, once I have the design plans, is just have the consultation with them. We work on kitchens, bathrooms, bedrooms, any room where there's storage needed or design needed. Yes. Especially when you're going for custom built-ins, there needs to be design to make that work and to make it, it's costly. Yes. So, you don't want to put that money in to a project without being sure the design's going to work and it's going to be practical and that you're ticking all your needs. Yeah. And I think everybody is so busy these days.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're all like so busy with life. Yeah, and
storage is key for that. Yeah. And I think if everything has a place, it's so much easier to keep a house and to keep it organised. Especially with everybody working full time now as well, and then all the evenings are took up with sports and activities and everything else.
Yeah, because I think, and maybe you'll agree, I see sort of people leaning more in towards sort of built-in storage and custom design solutions. And would you say that's why people are leaning that direction, why you're sort of seeing that trend for more joinery detail and so on within interiors?
Yeah, I do think so. I think everybody's lives is so busy and that they want to just have something that's going to have longevity. So yes, it's going to cost, but it will last so much longer. So it'll cost at the start, but you'll get so much more time out of it.
Yeah.
And then it's just there, and the storage is there when you need it. And that's the main thing. It's just about making a home practical and usable, as well as making it aesthetically pleasing and looking nice the way we all like them to look nice.
Yeah. And from that point of view, would you say sort of you do a lot of 3D sort of CAD drawings and 3D visualization? How important do you think that is for homeowners, you know, going forward in terms of doing a revamp or a new build? Do you think that's something that really helps bring it to life for clients?
Yeah, I think it's so important. It really is. And the CAD drawings just really help you visualize. And I think some people, and I'm sure our minds are similar, we can see it in our heads just talking about it. And like looking at a plan, you have a picture.
It's already in front of me,
you have a picture in your head. Yeah. But not everybody can do that. And not everybody's mind works that way. And that is why the CAD drawing is so good, because you can visually see it. You can add the colours that you want to go on, the finishes that you want to go on, add your lighting and just really visually see it. So when I'm doing a design for a customer, there's CAD renders, like photorealism renders. You have your virtual reality walkthrough that I do for most kitchens as well. So you can move around the space.
Fantastic. That's amazing.
That's huge as well. Measurement plans for electricians and plumbers so that they can get everything in the right place the first time round, and you're not having the cost of then having to move things later on. So the design is so important for you to be able to shop around for your kitchen suppliers, but also to just get the plumbing, the electrics, everything right from the get-go. It does save money in the long run, absolutely.
I think that's something people often get caught out on when they're building or renovating, is how quickly they need to know for that first fix.
Yeah.
They're sort of like, I've got plenty of time to decide on the kitchen, I've got plenty of time to decide on the bathroom design or whatever, but they need to get in there early, really. They need to be talking to designers early on in the build process.
Oh yeah, I would always say as soon as the planning's confirmed, start looking at whoever's going to design it and get in there and get the planning done and get as much chosen as possible, because really once that roof goes on, it snowballs very quickly. It starts
to go very quickly, and I think people actually underestimate how quickly it goes, and rush decisions then are regretted later.
Exactly, that's it.
And as we said at the start, I think, as I said in the intro, for anybody who's really struggling with the visualization of a final interior, it's a service like yours that really helps them to sort of finally see what's going to be the final project, what it's going to look like when it's finished, what the colours are going to look like, what the finishes are going to look like, because I think everybody can see everything in isolation, but seeing that coming together.
Yeah, and then sometimes you would have someone that is really convinced, I want a really dark kitchen. And then when they see it in the picture, they're like, no, I don't like that at all. Yeah. But it's so much easier to change a plan than change a kitchen.
Yes.
You know, the cost is so minimal compared to changing the actual kitchen itself.
Because
so it's so important.
Yeah, the areas you're talking about really are your investment areas, really, like your kitchen, your walk-in wardrobe, your bathroom. They're the areas that make a home function.
Yes.
And just hugely important.
Absolutely. And now I think everyone has... A lot of people are putting in walk-in larders now as well. So that's nearly a second kitchen. Yeah. Your utility room as well, again, is such an important room in a family home. Yeah. So
I think we find a lot of people now are really struggling to know where to start with a kitchen design. So what would you say is your starting point, or do you have a starting point that you always use when you come to designing a kitchen? If you could give a tip to somebody who's currently in the design process or revamping their home, where do you always start with a kitchen?
The first thing I look at is the plans, and then I look at the wall space in the kitchen. Okay. So I get a lot of big, gorgeous homes, open plan spaces, fabulous, but doors and windows everywhere and no wall space, which is the biggest issue. Yeah. I would always say list out the appliances that you want and then add up their total width. And if you don't have enough wall space, something's going to need to change.
Yeah. That's a good point, because a lot of people now with big islands think, well, I have a big island.
Yeah.
But where are you putting all your...
But then that means that the hob has to go there and the sink has to go there and, you know, a lock. And then that island becomes very busy. And then all of a sudden this big island is not so big anymore.
No.
Because there's so much on it.
And it's not that nice, clear, you know, space that you want to come in and look at, that nice sleek line.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. So appliances. And I think a lot of people as well want a big fridge and a big freezer. But then that's 4 foot of wall just gone right away. So... Wall space is so important.
Wall space when it comes to kitchen design is something you think about. Yeah,
absolutely. That's the key.
And is there any other common mistakes you see when it comes to kitchen design that you would see people make regularly? I'm sure you go into people's houses and you see kitchens, you think, that's a mistake. What would you say is the most common mistakes when it comes to kitchen design that people need to avoid?
I mean, space around an island I would never squeeze an island in a space. And I think that's the main thing. The general rule of thumb is about a metre around an island. I always think you need about 4 foot.
Okay,
you know,
so more like a metre and a half, kind of,
Yeah, around the 1,200 mark even, just a foot, or like about a foot more.
Yeah.
So about 4 foot right round.
Yes, okay.
And then if there's stools or anything more.
Yes, I think the push-out space for when you're sitting, they think, okay, the island looks great here now, but the stools are pushed in.
You need more space.
Well, you need to think when people are sitting on that, and they're not even just going to be sitting at the eating position, they might be sitting back and relaxing. And are you still able to get into the fridge? Exactly. Are you still able to get out to the utility room? You know, these are the sort of factors I think a lot of people don't take into consideration when it comes to designing their kitchen.
Definitely.
And the island's on the wish list.
Yes.
This big island.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily the most practical or the most important thing when it comes to the kitchen.
There's always ways. I would always say there's always an answer to it. It's and that's why the design is so important. So maybe an island's not an option, or an island to sit at is not an option, but like a freestanding island on legs is always an option. It can be skinnier. It doesn't have to be full, you know, it doesn't have to be running to the floor with storage and seating.
Yes.
So or put in a breakfast bar. There's always a solution to it.
Yeah.
It just might be the solution that they originally wanted. So that's why the planning is so important, because they can see it before anything goes in place. I'm also a real stickler for paneling, lining up. So like if there's a door panel side, the crossbar needs to line with the door, the fridge door.
Yes, okay. Yeah,
but that's
of course,
the things I look at, and most people wouldn't see them. But
but they mightn't see them in the initial before it goes in, but when it goes in, you do see it. But it's these details, I think, and that's as designers, that's what we're there for. That's what we're there to try and help people, guide them through, because they don't think about those minute detail. Yeah. But it's the detail that makes it in the end.
Absolutely. That's the things that we're looking at. And then that's the things that we're looking at. And then and that's why you get somebody to do the designs for you, to take that off your plate so that you don't have to worry about those tiny wee details. That's what we're there for. Yeah.
And I think too, a lot of people think they go into a kitchen company and they think they're going to design their kitchen for them. But really, a lot of the times they're not really evaluating all aspects of the space. Do you know, I'm sure you take it from a more holistic approach of the whole space, like if it's an open plan kitchen, living, diner. Yeah. So how do you make sure that a space is not just aesthetically pleasing but also functional in the entirety of the space?
Yeah. So like if I was doing an open plan space, I would draw the full room up, place the furniture in, dining table in, so that they know the size of the table that they want, and there is going to fit comfortably. So that's when the VR walkthrough is great, because you can move around the furniture and you can see the space that you have around the furniture. But that's kind of part of our design process, is placing in the furniture so that you can fully see the space.
Yes.
I think it's not to say it's pointless in just focusing on the kitchen, but when it's an open plan room, you need to look at the whole room and the whole space and make sure it all works together.
Yeah, I think I see that a lot in practice, and a lot of people find it really hard now. We all want this open plan living, and it's amazing and it works really well for modern living, but they find it hard to pull that entirety together. You know,
and to almost create a dining space, a kitchen space, and a living space within the whole room, but have them feel separate, but they're still in one room, and then that can be tricky, but. As I say, that's what we kind of do to make sure that they all have a nice flow, and the living space still feels cozy, even though it's in a huge room.
Yeah, absolutely. And would you say you take inspiration for anything in particular when it comes to your designs? Like, is there a period of design that you particularly favour, or a style, or is it the beautiful Donegal landscape that inspires you, or is it just the clients and their individual needs?
I don't think I take inspiration from any one particular thing. Like I love Donegal kitchens. They're like, I follow them on Instagram and they're fabulous.
Yes.
I have a lot of different aspects of designs, and then I love everything Jerry Designs does as well. And I got to work with her at the start of the year, which was like a major
amazing.
bucket list tick.
Yeah.
So that was amazing. I think I just love all aspects in all areas. So it's a matter of kind of making that work for the customer, whatever style they want to kind of go for. And then maybe nudging them in the right direction if something doesn't work or doesn't kind of sit in with their idea.
Yes.
A lot of the time they're just, I really like this, but if you show them something else within a better period, that kind of something similar.
Yes.
They might not even know it exists and it works better in the space. It's just giving them options, isn't it?
Yeah.
And
I suppose as a designer, you're there to help them take their vision, but make it the best version of that vision that it can possibly be.
Yeah,
and I
that's
suppose
it.
I know for myself, I would even look at the architecture of the overall home, because you know at the end of the day, it all has to sit together. So I suppose your design might tweak depending on whether you're in a very modern new build or a Georgian, inspired interior home. That's going to influence your design and so on as well.
I do like mixing trends as well. I don't think everything has to be just one particular trend.
Yeah.
I think obviously some ultra modern stuff don't go with traditional stuff, but you can mix a little bit of mid-century with traditional, and it works well. So I think that's very important too. Like and mixing patterns as well.
Yes.
And colours as well. I think everyone thinks that their kitchen's a colour, so the utility room needs to be the same colour because that's just how it's done.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be, as long as everything tonally works in well. So if you're going for earthy tones, as long as everything's kind of along that same bracket,
Yes.
I think it'll give you a little bit of contrast to your living and make it a wee bit more homey as well.
Yeah, as long as there's a flow, a little bit of contrast is nice. And seeing that juxtaposition maybe between contrast and styles can create that interest as well for the homeowner. And when you're talking about trends, is there any sort of interior trends that you're loving at the moment, or is there any you're sort of thinking, yeah, that's lovely, but it's going to date? What are you sort of leaning towards at the moment?
I mean, a lot of the trends I see now and the ones that I love are just kind of always there as well. They don't really date. So arches, I know they're massive right now, but they've always been around. They're just very big at the minute.
Yes.
And I love the fact that natural wood is all coming back into play as well. Stained oaks, walnuts, things like that. I love that people are using those more just natural products in their kitchens, and it's not all painted.
Yes.
Like I've stained oak on my own kitchen and I love it, and it's so easy kept.
Well, that's true.
Half painted, half stained oak, but it works, and that's okay. So you can always have it doesn't have to be all the one colour.
Yeah. I think it's good to see that return to something a bit more earthy, and that everything hasn't to be pristine perfect. It's nice to see something that's a little bit more homely and a little bit more lived in.
Yeah,
it's lovely. And it's nice to see that coming through in interiors. And are you finding people are leaning more towards, is it sort of half and half painted and wood, or are you finding people are going all wood again, or kind of?
I think it's a wee bit more half and half, but I think it's more they're nervous to go all wood. You would get the all customer that will fully go all out like this. I love this, and this is and I always ask for inspiration pictures, whether it be like a photograph of a view or wallpaper, and get them to send me things that they like, so I can kind of see their style.
Yes.
And pick little aspects out of those when I'm working on the design to try and add those into their design.
Yes.
I know a lot of people, and definitely a lot of my customers at the moment are loving the more earthy tones and the more natural woods and everything else. So it works well, but like that doesn't mean that it has to be wood and cream. It can be green. It can be, it can be. There's so much to choose from.
Are you seeing a lot more people being bolder with color when it comes to?
Yeah, again, quite neutral, earthy tones. I think bold green is about as bold as they would go.
Okay.
But there's certain people that you just know will be a bit more bolder, and I think that works well.
Yeah, it's nice to see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're chatting about built-in design. I suppose that spans from further on in the kitchen. Obviously, we have media walls, we have walk-in wardrobes, we have bathroom storage and so on. And those are all important areas, say, particularly bathrooms and so on when it comes to built-in storage. So do you find like that sort of plan, and you would work on that with people, the sort of visualization of like where showers are going to go, baths are going to go, all that kind of thing as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I do. I love, I actually love doing bathrooms. I worked on 2 bathrooms yesterday.
Okay.
And I do enjoy those, like just even again, working in like shower niches and recess lighting, and it doesn't always have to be one big light in the middle of a bathroom. You know, if you're having a bath, you want to be slightly more relaxed, so have like low level lighting on. So lighting, I think, is very important in a bathroom.
I think that's something that people are really waking up to now, because as you say, traditionally it's been central light, maybe possibly
a mirror light.
A mirror light, yes, absolutely. Now we're starting to see a lot more, as you say, you know, kind of recess lighting in the ceiling and the shower, you know, just more task lighting and so on. People are getting more aware of that, and that's really bringing, and as you say, that needs to be planned early on.
Does, absolutely, yeah. And I think a lot of people, even just for kind of censored under unit lighting, need like just to light the floor at night time.
Yes.
You know, that you don't have to put on a big light again. That there is just a soft glow there.
And again, it's a bit like the kitchen. It's an investment area, isn't it, really? Because I know, like our sponsors, Bassett's, would say it's all about quality. It's not about putting in the cheapest bathroom. It's about doing something that's going to last. It's always going to look like quality. It's always, and it's the same with your kitchen, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
It's creating something that's...
I think that's the same when you're doing anything built in, though, whether it be a media wall or a walk-in wardrobe or a pantry, you know, bathroom. It's an investment piece. It definitely is. You're investing in your whole house. But as I say, the time that you're going to get out of that, it's going to be worth the investment, and that's the most important thing.
Yeah. So what advice would you give to someone now who's embarking on whether a home revamp or a new house, and they're thinking about investing in built-in storage, whether that's kitchens or utility rooms or so on? What kind of advice would you give them now at the planning stage?
Get booked in to get your design done as quickly as possible.
That kind of 3D visualization is going to be a major help, isn't it, really?
Definitely. Yeah. Design and thinking ahead is the most important thing. If you have everything planned out and everything chosen ahead of time, it just means that everything is going to be in the right place when it comes to fitting, and there's not, as I say, the design is so important. And even things, I always say, like really practical things, like think about the really boring everyday stuff that you do. But like having your cordless hoover relatively close to the kitchen.
Yes.
You know, if your utility is a little bit further away, have a cupboard somewhere that can hold a cordless hoover and a spray mop that you can tidy up relatively quickly if you find out guests are coming and you're like
quick run around. We all have that.
Yeah.
Or even your robot hoover now, because I'm even seeing a lot of people like even building that into like...
Yes, leaving the plinth off.
Fabulous.
Yeah, such a good idea.
Such a good idea, because we're all trying to make lives a little bit easier. As you say, we're all busy, we're all hectic. How can we make our lives a little bit easier? So if we're going to book in with yourself or a designer like yourself, what would you say is the best way you can prepare for that? Do you need to bring like a wish list of what you want to incorporate, or information about your life and how you live, or how do you like to see clients coming to you? What makes it easier for you as a designer?
Well, the first thing I always ask for is their plans. Once I can kind of once I see their plans, I kind of know that the sizing and you know, the detail they're looking for. Like if they have a pantry and they have a boot room and they have all these different rooms, you know that storage is really important for them and they want that to work. So plans I always ask for first, inspiration pictures, and then a wish list. I would book a consultation call with them then and go from there, go through everything in detail, kind of what all they want to work in, their style, their design, the kind of colours they want to work in, and then work on the design then after that, and email it on to them then. So as I say, I work virtually, so I can work anywhere. I worked in Cork last week from Donegal, so it was great.
The internet's making the world a small place in terms of we can really work on projects pretty much anywhere now, can't we? I know I actually worked with clients one time and they were in Canada, and we never had a face-to-face, but we were able to do everything virtually, so really there is no limits to where you can help clients at the moment.
No, definitely not. And I think so many people as well living in Australia, I've had so many building at home, they're building in Donegal, but they're over in Australia working. And just the plan aspect then of that is great, because they can make so many decisions from there for their build over here,
and
which
definitely,
is difficult.
Definitely if you're living further remote from the build, it's good to have someone on the ground who's got the eyes and sort of can give you the plan and help you with that visualization.
Absolutely, yeah.
So what's next for Grey Tree Designs? What is your plans in the next year to 5 years for your company?
Well, bigger and better always is the hope. I am currently working on another phase with a muff liquor company in Donegal. I worked in their brand home last year, so we're working on another phase there at the moment.
Yes.
And it's going great. That was such a fun project to work on. I really enjoyed working on it, and they really pulled out all the stops. They really worked so hard on it, and no expense was spared.
Brilliant. Gives you good creativity and lots of scope when you're working with a company like that that's prepared to push the boat out. Yeah,
absolutely. But even just to work on like a brand home for something like that was just so much fun. There were so many different areas and aspects. And had to work on a full bar design. That was just something so different to work on, which was lots of fun. And then at the moment, because we're Donegal based, and I'm sure you're the same, there is so much mica work.
Yes.
The houses are going up everywhere. You can't drive down a road without seeing one tossed.
Yeah.
So that is so important to make sure that we get all them families back into their homes.
Back into their homes and make it the best experience possible. Like, that their new home that welcomes them home again is even better, and
make it an exciting process, because it's not an exciting process. No. So you want to try and get everyone as excited about a new space,
that there's something good at the end of this process for them to come home to.
Yeah, definitely. That's so important.
Yeah. Well, Geraldine, it's absolutely brilliant talking to you, and I'm sure this has given our listeners lots of inspiration when it comes to creating more storage, more built-in custom designs within their home. And if you want to check out Geraldine's social media, well, you're on Instagram, Facebook.
There's a website there as well. And if you want to make an inquiry, you can make that through the website as well.
Okay. Thank you very much, Geraldine.
Thank you so much.
The Local Women Interior Design podcast is brought to you by Bassett's, Northern Ireland's leading multi-award-winning bathroom, heating and tile specialist.